Hi, everyone. Karen Ross, Secretary of the California Department of Food and Agriculture. I'm really excited to be here with my friend and State Board of Food and Agriculture member, one of our at-large members, and she's a little thing, Rachelle Arizmendi, who is with us today from Sierra Madre. Is that correct?
That's
Where
correct.
she lives with her husband and her doggie. I love that in your bio. This is our final offering for May, which is a very special month, and we've been celebrating Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I'm just so pleased we were able to get on your busy schedule. This woman is amazing. I don't want to spend a lot of time on her bio because you can look her up. She's a former public servant because she was an elected member and served on the Sierra Madre City Council, and you've been two-time mayor. And so you know all the things about local government, but you serve on so many boards at the state and national level. You're such a leader. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about your pathway, and especially growing up in Carmel and then moving to the big city. I don't want to spend time on your bio because I think it's more interesting to share that with people as we talk about how you even got interested in saying when the governor's office called, would you be interested in serving on the State Board of Food and Agriculture? I think that's got to be a good story. Go with it, Rachelle. Tell us all about it.
Thank you, Secretary Ross. I don't know how I got to where I got. I am very thankful for people along the way that brought me on and led me in different directions
Yeah.
to really fulfill work that I love doing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about community service. And the fact that I came from Monterey Bay area and the Salinas Valley, I don't think I appreciated agriculture the way I do now. And we are right in the heart of it. And to be able to serve on the board now for food and agriculture is truly an honor. But my background is in nutrition. I started as a dietitian for the Women, Infants, and Children program. So a lot of my consultations were for lactating mothers, pregnant mothers,
Okay.
and young children, all about food. And it brought me to a community development organization that focused on early education and healthy eating. And so that lent itself to the world in community development, serving the
Mhm.
Asian Pacific Islander communities, those with disadvantage, those with that low income, but
Mhm.
tied in my nutrition, my love for food, and love for serving the community. And as I made my way through that community development
Yeah.
organization, my title changed, but my heart was still in love with food, as it is with my culture. And so, as we looked at this appointment, there was no question in my mind I wanted to serve.
That is so neat. I want to talk to you a little bit more as someone of Filipino descent, how your cultural heritage really influenced some of your pathway as well. I've had a taste of that, the flavor of fabulous Filipino food at our last state board meeting where we were in Salinas Valley. Your mom and your auntie made us all little boxes
Yes.
of special delicacies. And also, your background was perfect for being on the First Partners Advisory Committee for our roadmap for Farm to School. And I want to hear a little bit how that all played out for you as well.
Sure. In the Filipino community and Filipino culture, food really is at the heart of what we do. There is no occasion where you don't have food and eating more food and making sure you had enough food. So the fact that when the board came out to the Salinas Valley, there was no question in my mind that I would volunteer my mother and my aunt to prepare food. And I really wanted all of you to really have a taste of Filipino cuisine. So I'm just
Mhm.
thrilled we were able to provide that. But also in the Filipino community, it's about welcoming, embracing, and hospitality. Anyone that you talk to that has been in a Filipino household or has visited the Philippines, it's all about welcoming. And that approach is a part of who I am. But as it relates to farm to school, I
Uh-huh.
think again that circles back to the work I did in early education and how important it is to expose children and students to the love of not just eating, which we all do, but
Yeah.
healthy eating, but also where it comes from and
So, do you know very many Asian American or Pacific Islanders that are actually in the business of growing some of the food, as well as what some of the challenges are for the community? I know in recent times there's been some really unfair kinds of situations that we put all of our friends from API in really untenable situations. But I'd love to hear about some of the challenges that you've seen or have observed for your community.
I think in as much as there are a lot of opportunities, there are challenges. I think sometimes it's the farmers and growers in the API community that don't know how to access resources,
Yeah.
funding, and technical assistance. And is there outreach that's done in place
Mhm.
where they're with trusted community members
Yes.
or organizations? And I think CDFA has done a fantastic job with that, is making sure that you're partnering with local organizations and again a trusted source so they know, but the language capability, the
Mhm.
cultural adaptability is extremely important, to ensure that our API growers and farmers know that there is technical assistance available, that there is funding, that there are lending
Mhm.
opportunity to help their farm, their work truly grow.
Mhm. That's really important. Tell me about your leadership journey. I don't think you probably grew up saying, "Oh, I want to be on a city council and be a mayor, and then I want to serve on this national board and that state board." How is it that you like just like rose to these kinds of leadership positions? Because you do an amazing job on so many ways.
I appreciate the kind words, and you're right. I did not grow up thinking I want to be a politician, and I think there are some that do, and they know that's the pathway they
Yeah.
take. Those that knew me when I was younger, oh, she was class president for this and class president for that, which I was, but that again was not the path I had assumed. I think for me, it was just a matter of what I can contribute to my community. Again, that's how I was raised. My mother
Mhm.
was always involved in the community, and when we moved to the city of Sierra Madre, um, I was actually just doing a jog through town and I
Yeah.
looked at the city hall and I saw the bulletin board and it said Community Services Commissioner. And I thought, hey, I could do that. And I wanted to get involved, but I also wanted to get to know the residents here in the community.
Mhm.
And I served 5 years on that commission when someone asked, hey, do you want to run for city council? And I said, that's just crazy. Um, but again, thankful for that opportunity. I served almost 9 years on the city council. And like you had shared in my intro earlier, 2 years as mayor in 2017 and 21.
But I'd love to hear from your vast experience what kind of suggestions you would have to expand our thinking on how do we improve on inclusiveness and the sense of belonging for the employees who work for organizations like CDFA, but also for all organizations to really think about how do we make sure that we're being intentional in our outreach and inclusiveness.
Well, and those are the two key words, is being an intentional about it and
Yeah.
really recognizing the importance of being inclusive. And I think it starts there. It starts with, and I shouldn't say it continues on with events like this and recognizing Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month,
Mhm.
recognizing the history too, especially for
Yeah.
Filipino Americans and the contributions of people like Larry Itliong, who served side
Right.
by side with Cesar Chavez, and the Deliano Matnongs that helped in the migrant farmer worker fight.
Huh?
But it's the recognition of history. It's the intentionality of being
Mhm.
inclusive and really the outreach of ensuring that people know that they are part and they belong.
I want to end up with some of your visions and goals that you might have for the next decade or so, especially like how we can improve things in the food and ag sector because of how many community members come from a wide variety of backgrounds, but especially API. But I did want to ask you, in your journey, what has been something that has made you especially proud, satisfied, like, aha, this is what I was meant to do?
Wow, that's a really tough question. I don't know if there is one thing that I've been able to say aha
Mhm.
to. I think there's certain projects that we've done in town or certain outcomes that I've seen in projects. But I think if I had to think of one thing, I think it really is building a pipeline of the next generation of leaders. And I think that's so important. I think not everybody knows what direction to go into.
Right.
And opening that window to help pull someone through, whoever that next leader is, that next mayor of the city that's never had a person of color be
Yeah.
in that position. And to be a mentor in any way that I can. I always make sure that I'm available to young people that are trying to even just explore to figure
Mhm.
out what do I want to do, and creating a village of people around
Yeah.
them to ensure that you have people that are cheering you on and you have people that can talk you through different directions or introduce you and be a resource. And I think that's such an important thing to strive for everyone,
Yeah.
because that next generation will always look forward to someone that can help them make it to that next chapter.
You're doing a lot in workforce in a more urban setting. But you know that the ag career pathways are a multitude. Like FFA says, there's 300 different pathways. And when you think
Wow.
about it, ag's the nexus of everything. There's lots of science, there's lots of tech, and more of that. Tell me what you think could be a vision that we could share as a sector of how to be more inclusive of all those kids in urban settings that might not ever think about agriculture and career in ag.
Well, I think the work again that CDFA is already doing is in the forefront of that. And every time I even go to board meetings, I'm learning. Had no idea that this could be a pathway or this
Uh-huh.
is a position there. And it's ensuring that you are, and whoever those advocates are working with the colleges, with the community colleges, even with the high schools. And like you're saying with FFFA, I think it's really exciting to know that workforce development, what it looked like even 10 years ago, is not what it is today. And we don't even know what we don't know for the next decade. And I think there's still a lot of opportunities as to what possibilities are there in agriculture and food.
It has been a great month. We've done some things with our employees, and I can't think of a better person to end up with as you, or having so many references we both made to food, because food is a common denominator at the
Really,
table. I love it.
really. Well, thank you
Thank
so much for having me. And again, thank you for CDFA for recognizing this month, not just today, but everything that you've done throughout the month. So thank you. I'm
It's
honored.
our pleasure. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye, Rachelle.
Bye.